have been working on intensively for the last 6 months or so. And as we head into the knife now of Train, we're going to see which side gets to choose where they start. Everyone are going to be looking for CT, you'd have to imagine.
You'd expect and you'd want the CT side. Lyngby, this would be a good time to really get a bit of momentum and get some good control, because I'm looking at some of their ESEA stats as of late. Realistically, Train hasn't even been played in this season unless they've played it in any playoffs. So from their regular league point of view, not too much to say. They do win knife rounds, so CT is certainly the option they can now work with. So for Endpoint, expect a T-sided start and expect what could be a very dominant performance on that T-side also. Lyngby not only looking for the early round advantage, but also for me, are going to be looking for that economy just to get kick-started early on.
Last time Lyngby played on Train in an official, according to my information, they lost to Ambush in mid-June. So not really looking too great for their record here. You're expecting Endpoint to be able to take that early advantage, to be able to start off grinding those rounds out and building up that competitive scoreline. Is going to be so important. The economy management of the start of Train. If you can break that CT economy, that's just absolutely vital from Endpoint.
Well, let's see what we find early on here. Endpoint starting T side. Lyngby starting CT. And the odds, I don't think we'd be too surprised to say, are going to be in Endpoint's favour, courtesy of our partners at LootBet, 1.45 in their favour. And a lot of work, really, when you look at that, has to go now towards Lyngby. Right from Sky, 2 flashes and a kit. No much utility investment realistically, but a fast play to quickly clear Ivy. But Max and Robin, they seem to be fully prepared for it. The Glocks do damage, they don't quite find a kill. And while there was an angle there for Twinx really to work with, it's an awkward encounter. Surreal not hitting his shots either cleanly. And with Typhos the only player for now falling for the Lyngby side, it is a slow start, but it's Endpoint with the early control at least.
They have that opening advantage. Absolutely they do. Rare that you get to see UKCS very often, but thankfully we are graced with Endpoint today as UK casters. We obviously love to watch it. We'll have to see whether or not they're going to be able to take a victory, though. They are the more experienced side. Struggling to get into the top 30, have Endpoint for a while, but they've certainly been knocking on the door. And a denial against Lyngby would help to further that case. Instead, it's the Vikings who go huge in the B-bomb site, finding many, many kills. Bird from Sky finishing off Mighty Max as well. Surreal is alone, but at least he's made his way in.
Well, I was about to say he's not been spotted, but Cabby does it, and he doesn't want to overcommit either. Lyngby, you know what, are playing really coordinated and playing this quite well. The player on top, Bird from Sky, comes off better for the kill. It's an early advantage, at least towards the Danes. Endpoint not too happy with it, obviously. So they are going to force out anyway. A couple of ZZs, a couple of upgraded pistols. Lyngby now have an M4 on Cabby. And
no bomb plant for Endpoint, unfortunately, which means that if they were going to save and buy up into the next, you wouldn't be able to justify it. The rifles would be stretched too thinly. So if you force here, you just go for that all-out money dump, basically. Eco the next, and then make sure you have a much more consolidated buy up in round 4. The rifles mixed up with SMGs for Lyngby on this defense. And Endpoint paying it passively for now. They've got Deagles for range, and they've got Tech 9s to close down enemies at speed.
Quite a standard CT hold also. Lyngby not going for anything adventurous, but Bird from Sky did just spot out Robin. Considered the smoke, but for now just plays it safer with the Angels and trying to avoid giving up too much to what is a heavy buyout from the Endpoint side. And you don't need to push through this. It could certainly catch 1 or 2 players off guard. 3 players up close. Mighty Max will be the first point of contact. And the M4, if it has to swing around and to do supporting damage, it certainly could. Mighty Max gets 1, but the M4 in fact does little. Only damage in fact.
The flash is great onto Rals as well. That allows more players from Endpoint to make their way into this A-bomb site. Rals has so many angles to worry about now. He's been taken out. Lyngby still haven't found a kill yet. Eventually, Twin-X will get one, but a 4-on-2 situation is imminently winnable by the T's at this point. Surreal helping Thomas to secure the kill, but it's Crucial who finds the last one. 2 men left alive, but Endpoint get it done with that force. They deal the damage to the Lyngby economy, and this now has the potential to be the perfect start. If Lyngby force and Endpoint can win this round as well, that'll be immense money damage dealt to the CTs.
You surely have to force in this situation. Lyngby have got players essentially on double eco, and the Scout and the Pistols come out quite late, but still the Danes will try and force themselves back into this, and fair enough, because Endpoint stealing away around like that just shouldn't be happening. And the issue was they lost that M4 so quickly also. Max gained it down towards CT. He's got it early on down in Ivy this time. And again, the UK squad just want to try and work off of this Ivy control. You can't blame them. Well, it's a default with a lot of presence now down towards the back panels over towards Beam.
Just desperate to find the opening. The Lyngby Vikings. It's also going to be lurking in the back of their mind that the last time they played against Endpoint, they were defeated in 2 maps, no less. Typos in this round has found the first kill on to Surreal. Endpoint are considering the B bomb site as their final target here, and Typos, because of the amount of time he's been given, he could yet convert another kill. A lucky headshot on an entering player would be excellent, not just for him, but for his team's chances at the retake. They're going to push down all around him, shots ringing out, but no kills yet converted. Eventually they come through. Rals and Typos get them. Robin tries to recover, but he's been dinked now as well. This could be another forced victory straight back at Endpoint.
It feels so late for Endpoint to maybe find a way back into this, but they've got the bomb to also put down. Crucial's got it, and he's just looking for the kill in heaven. Bird from Sky actually peaks, but it's a CT win in the Angel. 22 HP, a UMP to find 4 of them. Robin, you've got a massive arse now on your shoulders. He at least converts Cabby and upgrades to that M4. Got so much more work to do. Lyngby start to close in. Players even behind him at this point, and Bird from Sky, in fact, finds the damage.
Indeed, Lyngby swing it straight back in their favour. And Endpoint now, do they continue the battle of the forces? They do indeed. Robin has enough for an hero AK. Mighty Max, what's he going to do? Pick up an AK, or is he going to drop pistols? He's picked up an AK himself. Should be dropping that onto an armoured player of Thomas, which he just about does so. This is going to be still a dangerous force from Endpoint, but eventually you have to say the advantage is still in Lyngby's favour due to the amount of CT utility they have. If Endpoint can swing this one back miraculously, that would be a great effort, because as we see always with the Battle of the Forces, the T's, if they can trade at 1-to-1 rounds, they eventually win.
Typos with a deep smoke towards lower tunnels. Let's hear the sound cues of the Deagle from up above, so they get that early info. 2 AKs though out. Endpoint might again try and snatch away a victory if they come off better with some engagements. And they've got to be winning some early ones, because that's what helped them secure their opening round. Well, Robin just taps to find Bird from Sky. There's your kill found. Cabby deleted. I didn't think Crucial would come off better, but that's a massive kill to win. Twin-X and Rouse, while he almost had the kill, he does damage, but it's still the UK side with an advantage.
Surreal's Deagle is just going to slowly make its way over to A as Endpoint. They want to push all 3 players through Ivy at the moment, and nobody from Lyngby actively watching other than Typos. He's the man responsible for ensuring the T's don't wave down on his team, and he's run away from the position at the wrong time. He can really get caught off guard here. Doesn't expect where to peek, and Robin does punish him with the AK headshot. Twin-X is going to make his way back down into Pop Dog now. Can he convert any more kills? A Molotov at his feet, that should shut him out of the round. This actually, I think you have to give away from Lyngby. A 2-on-4 retake into the A bomb site with the M4s up. You just have to save. Endpoint have got 4 rifles now, which they certainly didn't have at the start of this round. And yet again, a force buy is won. This time, it's Endpoint on the T side again.
It feels like we've had lots of force buy wins really come in over the past few weeks, and lots of CS at this level. And it's certainly one that Lyngby Vikings now might consider once again with these 2 M4s saved up. Bird from Sky. Well, could certainly afford something. But at this point, if you are the CT side, you probably also want to just get that economy normalized. You want to get a chance for a full buy in this game. You're on the preferred CT side, but they are going to force it out. I can't say I'm surprised. But you're now against what's mainly a full AK buy.
Mighty Max keeping the scout in hand. A couple of unarmored players for the Lyngby side, but he'll really just be looking for those body tags, I think. Soften them up so that the AKs can do the rest of the work, and it's going to be quickly into the A-bomb site. With 3 players actively defending and IV control already afforded to Lyngby, there's going to be 4 watching this A site, with a 5th quickly on the way from Hot Dog. Cabby's found the first kill, but Thomas has traded him out, and Surreal towards the bomb train is hunting for more. Twin X has found an opening kill with the scout, though before being removed. Riles will get the first before being traded out, and it's back-to-back kills either side, with Thomas doing all of the work for Endpoint. And now, the bomb yet has to be recovered by these Ts. They've got a minute and 20 seconds to work with, but Lyngby can still shut this one down if they put themselves in the right positions.
All the kills back by Endpoint, all favoured and won by Thomas. In fact, he's on for an ace if he can find these last 2 players. And this is the concern for Endpoint in this round. They've lost the bomb, and it's dropped in such an open position that there's quite a few angles they've really got to clear out. Pop Dog's the key one, because that's where Typos is playing. For now, only a Deagle. But they'll smoke off the angles with what smokes they have left. So they can now look for the bomb point. 40 seconds left, and they do, in fact, just push out of the lobby and push out of E-Box. Surreal deletes his opponent. It's an MP9, which certainly couldn't have a chance in losing it. And my Molotov, a flash, and he just spots Thomas. There he goes. You just got to find an AK now. 34 HP and a tough arse with no kit. The Molotov, I don't think even in this scenario, can be utilised. Surreal can just wait. He can just play the time. And it won't be an ace, but it's still Endpoint on top.
Yeah, Bird from Sky, he's got to get out of there with that M4. Backs away from the A-bomb site. And it is going to be the round victory for Endpoint. They are the team that get 2 in a row, and this now has to be the eco from Lyngby. Everyone's got the money equalized at over $2,000. Just hard eco here. No need to force whatsoever. And go for the full buy up into the next once your economy has recovered. Endpoint eventually win the battle of the forces, Louis. Thankfully for them, after that pistol round loss, they now secure the 1-round advantage that they'd like to convert into 2. And what's so beautiful about winning the battle of the forces at the T side is that not only do you start with that round advantage when the full gun rounds start coming through, but it's so much later in the half that Lyngby just have less time to recover economically.
Yeah, that's the thing. The economic advantage now, while it's an Endpoint's advantage for now, Lyngby, they've got to wait quite a while before they can get a full-on, quote, decent buy. This is the 1M4 saved up from the round prior. Full eco elsewhere. A perfect shot to delete your only player with armor and an M4. The next recovers a weapon. It's still nice advantage rich. Surreal just extends over towards B. They find a kill. They find essentially an open site if they want it. But they're just looking for kills, and Twin X left. I don't think he's got much chance.
Faces Ivy, but then Thomas hits him in the back of the skull. That'll be 4-2 for Endpoint. The 2-round advantage their way is now the force buy will come in, or the full buy even, for the Lyngby Vikings. On that CT side, no AWPs can be afforded, I don't think, in this round. That might struggle to impact the range of Lyngby here. That might be a really dangerous factor at shutting down any kind of fast-paced execution from Endpoint, as they can't bail themselves out with an AWP. Typos looking to get aggressive at the start of this round towards B, but instead deploys the nade after he hears that T-side utility.
Well, Bird from Sky allowed to come off better in that engagement over towards Ivy. Endpoint, they've had 1 trade in this round so far, but Lyngby, they struck it right back, and Cabby almost lucky to have time to even reload and just get into a safer angle. And I think Endpoint have realised they've lost the bomb. That's a concern. Lyngby have got control of it. And the deep smoke also means that TwinX on this side do more or less have a favoured control. And look at that, just recover the AKs. Just looking for the weapons. They are playing it smart. Molotov just forces out the players.
TwinX on the close angle. He's revealed himself by getting tagged by that Molotov. But look at this push from B. Bird from Sky. He's been eliminated. But do they expect Cabby to be coming from here as well? It doesn't look like it. This could be the real danger now for Endpoint as they try and make their way into A. Their sights distracted from the flank, and Thomas reloading could get timings here, but he lands the headshot on just 11 HP. Absolutely had to do it. He can't entry though, unfortunately, on such low amounts, and instead he's going to sprint all the way over to Ivy and try and go for the long flank. This is going to be such a time pressure round now for Endpoint.
I think Typhos has heard this because he's repositioned towards Hell, and with it, TwinX is now holding in connector, so they're playing it safer. But Surreal, if he pushes in and if he gets the timing on the kill, he could win this. Typhos just find Thomas. It's Surreal who just about to trade out 7 seconds now time against us. And maybe TwinX didn't have to commit to the kill, but he does so anyway. Lyngby back on top. They fight back and they come off better. Now might have some money to play with, but you still got to go up against an AWP and a full Endpoint AK by him.
Don't think that Lyngby can get an AWP out in this round either, unfortunately. And it gets so much worse when you don't have an AWP, when your opponents do have one. Surreal has it to hand. And he'll be looking to utilize that range to his advantage now in this map. You can see already hungry for those kills, but he's been double naded. He's lucky to be alive at this point. 12 HP, he has to back off from the angle, and Riles finds the opening kill onto Crucial. This round's starting to go wrong now for Endpoint.
1 kill back could be ideal. Thomas has got it, but he so swiftly got, again, refragged by Bird from Sky, so he's on 7 kills specifically. Lyngby still have this minor man advantage, and will it be enough to maybe hold on to the sights once again? Again, a deep smoke Endpoint. Now have no visibility out of T main towards aim. You can still push though, and that's what Max is going to do now. Robin finds that Ivy kill. Still got a minute to play. Robin beats Cabby in that one, and so quickly Endpoint now establish an advantage.
Such an important kill to find. Riles is clearing back B just to make sure that this isn't an execute, but they think that Endpoint are deep in the B site. Both players from Lyngby committing to this one. That's very confusing indeed. They've essentially sacrificed the A-bomb site for free. Now they hear the plant. Surely they can't expect it to be on this site. They know it's over on A, but in the 2-on-3 retake, take a look at that CT money. Might be the save call here, realistically speaking. If Bird can go and upgrade his FAMAS onto a better weapon, just save the rifles into the next and let Endpoint have 5.
It was more or less early on just a game of forces, and Endpoint now seem to have that advantage in rounds and money. Won't be perfect. Crucial might have to get dropped something, or revert to an SMG. Up to 5 now. Endpoint in control.
They certainly are, and this is our opportunity to talk about Hellcase, the biggest and most known case opening website with almost 100 cases, updated case battle, upgrader, dozens of giveaways per month, and more absolutely unique features. You can find access to all of those over with our case partner at Hellcase. Now, Lyngby, they have gone for the force. They've brought around the rifles that they saved. The flash could be dangerous early. Surreal will get the first. I don't know if he spotted out the second player close with the scout. He has, and converted the kill now. This round is very dangerous for Lyngby, but Surreal still lands that last headshot. 3 big entries on the A-bomb site. Lyngby now have to reply with just 2. Cabby down, and Surreal with the 4th headshot through smoke. Just a Surreal round from him.
I hate that joke. I hate you've made that joke. It just worked so good. Endpoint. That's them finding 6 now, and it was a beast of a round from him individually. Just a completely different setup. Lyngby not fully prepared for anything. It was that 3rd kill which I thought was completely insane. Lyngby's money isn't there, so they now look to Eco and now look to maybe give up 7 to Endpoint. It's a Danish group up over towards B, a rush in fact. But Robin could so easily clean up some ecos with Crucial. They find 3 of them. While that was an AK momentarily recovered, Thomas finds the next one. And Endpoint have no issues.
7 already on the T side for Endpoint, and they're certainly showing strength on this T side when they have the guns together, but this is the ultimate test of any trained T side. It's the double AWP CT defense. How do you break into it? How do you deal with the 2 snipers? How do you minimize their impact and not give away those early kills at range? It's a really difficult question to answer, but if you can do it, train is all but yours. Crucial, he's taken down by his counterpart AWPer of Twin X, and with Bird having another sniper just ready to pounce, this one could be a bit tough for Endpoint.
Well, they've modded off the back of B. They've sent some utility out. Endpoint. Oh, Thomas, you've got to be careful of that. It was a bait anyway. And the pre-fire isn't quite going to catch on to Cabby yet. It's Thomas who takes any damage at all from that engagement. So they now back off to look to play it safer. Endpoint. Yet to commit to anywhere yet. Might now look to split and sort out something towards A. But Thomas keeps an eye on things. Smoke on long and smokes over towards A. This will be now the play maybe out. And unless Endpoint quickly gets something back, Lyngby might find their way to get 4.
Molotov on B, that's going to stall the execution, or at least you'd expect it would, but Surreal gets another smoke headshot. And that allows Endpoint at least the way into the B site, at least the bomb plant their way, as Lyngby now have to consider the 4-on-4 retake, brought into a 4-on-3 by Cabby, but a whiffed AWP shot onto Surreal could leave Bird in trouble. Twin X down the other channel of attack with the sniper rifle, the range advantage firmly with Lyngby as Bird eventually does find Surreal, and time ticking away. Thomas knows he has to be cognizant of the flank, and Mighty Max has to defend against 3 players going huge here. Turning around now for the flank of Sebi, but struggling to convert. The AWP finds him in the back, and Lyngby, they will put their 4th on the board. The double AWP works out. It's Endpoint's economy that can still sustain a buy, though.
Yeah, Lyngby, they'll be just about forcing themselves out a full buy here. Rouse might not be on a M4 with full utility and armor, and the same with Typos. So really, there'll be 2 players at least dropping down to what could be a weaker buyout. They're spreading out the money just to ensure they do get a comfortable buy, and from it, they still keep the 2 AWPs, 2 M4s, and an AK. And like I said, Endpoint on the full buy now can look to maybe extend and look towards 8, but they've got to really find that opening kill. Crucial falling quickly last round was the downfall. If they can try and avoid it here, that would be something. For now, a different setup, and for now, Ivy control, where Crucial doesn't quite find the opening kill.
1 AWP down, 1 more to go. Cabby, he's going to push Ivy, or at least try and hold it. He's got to be very careful about exposing his back to this angle, though. The Molotov will mean he won't do it, but the Crucial's missed the opening shot. He has to be bailed out by Robin. Thankfully, that refrag does come through for the T side. Now it's a 3-on-5 defense for Lyngby to try and deal with, and they do so by rotating their AWPer all the way through CT to try and deal with these pushing Ivy players in case they try and wrap around that second channel of attack. Grenades deployed in the A side. Typos and Rals, they get the first 3 kills as Typos goes huge with 2. Rals as well. Both players just taking over that round individually, shutting it down for Endpoint. 3 kills on one, 2 on the other. The Lyngby Vikings making a statement in that one.
Yeah, Typos only had 3 kills at the start of that round, so comes off better with a triple kill, and a great time also to react, considering Endpoint, if they lose this economically, they might be on a bit of a downhill turn. So now a bit of a must-win from the UK point of view. But 7 rounds already. On the T side, they've looked quite good. But it's again been that double setup which has been their concern. They've not looked as clinical on it, and again, they don't want to really contest T main. They're too scared to consider it. There's a deep nade in towards Pop Dog. Two of them, in fact. They force Rouse out. Thomas was heard dropping down. This engagement needs to be huge, and what a flick to allow Thomas and Endpoint, at least for now, an initial opening.
That flash from Lyngby has more impact than they know. Thomas had spotted the player out on top of Red Train. He'd already spotted his head, and he strafes out looking for that headshot. He just can't secure it because of that flash. So really, $200 investment at the start of the round there, saving the life of a Lyngby player in the A-bomb site and greatly increasing their chances of victory than if he had fallen. But still, there are 5 players to make their way into this A site. They struggled to do it against 3 in the last round. There are 4 alive and kicking for Lyngby this time, but they are a little bit more mobile in their angles. They're not quite so stationary. They're trying to take more aggressive positions. Certainly a gamble as Cabby's the first man up with his rifle. Has to be supported by his team here. Cabby gets the first, second secured by Bird. And now it's the 3-on-4. Endpoint, can they even walk into this? There's not enough time, and they have to recover the bomb.
Oh, they've got to save at this point, surely. I don't see what they can do in the next 20 seconds. They're going to give this a try anyway and look for damage. But if you've got no Pop Dog control and you've got nothing in terms of visibility, you've got to just fall back and save. And they are going to at least go for the latter option. Just time was their main concern. And all of a sudden, Lyngby look a lot more stronger and comfortable on the CT end. Endpoint, they find opening kills, they find advantages here and there, but it's not something that really they keep hold of. The Vikings now need 1 to tie up the score.
Well, we mentioned it earlier in the map, the double AWP setup. That's the true test of a trained T side. That is the final barrier to overcome. And it looks like Endpoint, they might still need some work in order to do so. Time running out in a half now to see which side is going to end it with round advantages in their favor. This time Crucial's found the opening AWP shot onto Twin X. Bird still alive and kicking, but he's all the way over in Ivy. He can't do anything about a B execute at this point. The only man who can stop that is Typos and his AK-47.
Well, they've gone for a slower approach, and Robin might just get the info if Cabby's a little too overextensive over in T main. And as a CT player, you don't have to extend yourself too far. You've got to play it safe. Obviously, Endpoint got the opening engagement, but for me, they've got to get more. They've got to get a second. They've got to just cement something, because these are the points where Lyngby will find the kills and just regain that possession. Limited utility also towards A. This is going to be tough, and it's a Mac 10 Toronto entry.
Sends it in first, it's the bomb and it's dropped, but Cabby's got 2 huge kills, third onto the AWP. That is terrible from Endpoint. They can't root out 1 rifler until it's far too late. 2-on-3 situation now, making their way into the A-bomb site, but the CT's rotating in ever so quickly. Surreal and Robin, they have to make their way over to the train to secure the plant. Surreal has to be active in the defense, finds the first onto Wild, leaves us in the 2-on-2, but he gets the second onto Bird. Great headshot from him as the flank from Typos is here, but Surreal shuts it down. Time and time again, the individual man, Surreal, seems to be able to bail Endpoint out.
Well, yeah, him and Robin, between them, 26 kills they've combined so far in the initial stages. Look at this from Cabby. I get you send a Mac 10 in first, but you've got to trade it out. Crucial, not really doing anything either, just kind of was that downturn. And despite just about coming off better with a individual effort, it's at least a half won by Endpoint, but Lyngby can certainly pull this back to a 1-round lead for the CT side. Again, have the 2 AWPs back out. They've risked it with both the AWPers without any armor at all. And that's an opening kill. Well, a couple of them, in fact, down towards B. Crucial and Thomas find those 2, but Cabby on one of the AWPs does find something back.
It is the double AWP setup, but both AWPs now on the retake have to be huge. Twin X gets 1. 3 more kills for these snipers to find. At long range, time is their enemy. Cabby pushing up, punished by Thomas's positioning, and Twin X now fighting for Lyngby to stay alive, but he can't do anything other than fall to Surreal's rifle. It will be the 9-6 scoreline for Endpoint after what was a shaky T side, it looked like, after those double orbs came out. Eventually they stabilized, though. Eventually they swung that advantage in their favor, and they'll be looking for the pistol round victory to ensure a comfortable win on their own map pick here.
Surreal just stopped after second half with a 2 KD. There's a look bet odds.
We can see them over from our betting partners there. To be honest with you, you'd expect them to stay like that, right? They were fairly similar at the start of the map, and with Endpoint with the 3-round advantage, you can't see why those odds would change too much there. Lyngby, perhaps if they get the pistol, they'll do something to equalize those.
This is the pistol shot. They've gone for a fast play down towards B. 2 Endpoint players up close. Really want the damage, but it's a struggle. Thomas, in fact, only gets 1. A 3-on-2 trade leaves Thomas and Ralphs again finding trade kills on the site. And look how quick Thomas was to just lurk in from behind. And I don't even know if they know where this last player is. They should do. And Twinix can also do the 180 to flick and find that one. So it is a Danish pistol win.
They win the second pistol as they won at the first, Lyngby, and now Endpoint. They're going to be looking for the force on the CT side. The last thing they want to do is get dragged into a battle of the forces now, because that would allow Lyngby essentially to mirror your half with those early round advantages. Scout in the hands of Crucial and Mighty Max. UMP on to Thomas, and you have to imagine it's just Eagles for Surreal and Robin trying to find those lucky headshots, and the Mac-10s. They've really got to close down the range here. That's the way that you can defeat this Endpoint force.
Well, Ivy's again going to be so key to just how this round plays out, and it's damage at least towards Rouse, who crossed over. There's the individual effort early on. Still not a kill, so still Endpoint have to play the safe, and they know one overextension could be costly. Far from perfect smoke, but Lyngby do have the player numbers to certainly take control early on here in Ivy. 1 minute to go. And the utility now reigns into what could be a fast A play.
Good opening kill from Bird. Finds Thomas's UMP. Mighty Max has got 1 with the scout. There goes the second as well. Typos has replied though, so it's a 3-on-3 situation. And Endpoint actually sandwiched in on this A bomb site. Surreal drops the smoke and spams through it with the Deeg, but it only finds limited damage. Low HP players in front. He might even consider aggression. Mighty Max in trouble with the scout if he whiffs this shot, but he does land it in the end. Now it's the Lyngby Vikings who push onto the bomb site, and Max stays quieter. USP out. He was thinking about some spam there. He knows there could be players at close range. Bird low. That's the 8 HP player found. The next on 58. He gets the scout out, looks for the shot, switch to the Mac-10, sprinting to the train, but doesn't peek left. Cabby can secure it. He deals with the Endpoint buy, and it's going to have to be the save now. Lyngby, they have the opportunity to tie it all up.
A great individual effort again, but I'm not surprised that I've had to save for Endpoint. Again, they're relying on someone just to turn up and really do the damage. Credit to Max, because he got some really good shots in that play, and you all almost thought he was going to go for the pistol spam straight after that. It's though only a 1-round gap now. Endpoint do at least have this minor advantage, but CT End go for a relatively full eco. Max and Robin, the players who upgrade some stuff out. Last one for the Danes, who should be looking for at least a bump on some easy eco kills. Crucial dealt with. Finds that one. Legal spam, really hopeful. I respect the idea, but it's just nothing for Max and nothing for Robin either.
Unfortunately not. Thomas and Surreal now just trying not to die to a Mac-10. That's the only real objective at the end of this round. If you can find a kill, that's a great bonus, but just avoid Lyngby having that bonus money. Typos on 20 HP, not really going to consider the hunt by the looks of things. Lyngby's economy is so tentative that they don't really want to throw any players away either. They don't want to have to break their own money unnecessarily hunting down pistols in this one when you know Endpoint are going to buy up in the next anyway. It's not like they're saving anything valuable. So it is all tied up at 9-9. The Lyngby Vikings with the economic advantage heading into this with the momentum in their favour. They have to deal with Endpoint's first CT buy though.
And could certainly be where it all goes wrong for the Danish squad. Both sides have an AWP, Crucial and Twinx will be the two sides utilising them. Not really much utility to support either of them either. If you are Lyngby, you are again hungry to try and get some opening control of something. Default they start off with, and just a smoke down in Ivy means for them it'll be Mighty Max just to come off and get the early map control. And Adova could be so good. Reouts looked for some damage. 15 points of health lost, and Typo can also look towards team main.
Lyngby taking their time with this one. They really don't want to lose that opening man. They know how much more likely it is for Endpoint to win the round if they find that opening kill. Mighty Max is incredibly aggressive in T-Con here as well. This is a go big or go bust position. Eventually he makes his way into a more traditional one on the top of the train. But the A-site hit is going to have Ivy as its primary focus. Thomas is the man with the M4A1S to try and deal with this push. Twinx on the AWP, ensuring that no Endpoint players can get aggressive close at least. It's going to be an explosion out onto the A-bomb site in the late round here from the Danes.
30 seconds. Look at the utility they've got left also. They've only got one smoke left. And with the Ivy control, you imagine they smoke off CT, the left side of that Ivy presence, and look towards A, but they've just had to reposition. They now look out of Pop Dog. In
It'll
fact,
be
the
B.
bomb? Is it B?
They're going to run through CT spawn, I think, and try and take this to B now, or at least use players to try and fake that bomb site, draw the players in. The bomb's dropped Ivy. It's all gone wrong for Lyngby. The kills are still coming through for Endpoint. And Twinx is left alone now on the A bomb site. The fake failed as the bomb was just taken down in Ivy. No time left for Twinx. He's just desperate to stay alive with his AWP. And Endpoint win that one through careful management of the early game and doing a great job of denying Lyngby any kind of map control.
I was thinking that with Lyngby going up towards Showers, I was thinking if they go down Pop Dog, that could work out so well for them. But they try and commit towards what really just shouldn't have happened anyway. It shouldn't have worked out for them to get anything off of that. It was always Lyngby's really in a tough scenario to try and win. So Endpoint do well to now reach double figures. Thomas and early Molotov deep in Pop Dog does deny Bird that early map control. T Molotov at least utilised out. And if you are Lyngby, you are waiting for the CT economy just to get messed up and used up early. Slow on with Surreal, supported by Crucial on B. That could be where the bomb heads. But for now, they wait for an opening engagement.
Again, Lyngby taking their time. Again, keeping their cool, and again, praying that they aren't the team that loses the first man. There's more utility for Lyngby in this round, but they still only have one smoke available. That can be really difficult if they want to get into the A bomb site. It does look like this is their target, though. They want to go down, pop out Ivy, and then through T-Con. All three channels of attack. 30 seconds left on the clock to get it done and plant the bomb, and the smoke's now been popped.
Well, it's a commitment towards A, but they've got Thomas to deal with, boosted on top of the bot mid. And the AK certainly wants something now. Robin wants something to be given to him, but look at the high angles Endpoint are just holding. They can easily find these kills. Twinx has been the only player to get a kill back along with that AK. And while the reposition wasn't good for Max, it's a bomb plant and a minor advantage going the way of Lyngby. Now they've got to hold off against an AWP and an M4 weapons, which could do the work. And already Cyril secures the first one. It just leaves this sole Dane on 10 kills, looking for 12. To now look to close it out, but the AWP spots him. That's all the info they need. They can try and stick it. They can molly off the angle. In fact, he'll try and push, but he is flashed. Got, I believe, a kit, but it doesn't matter. Cyril finds a kill at Endpoint. We'll find 11 after a good retake.
The 11-9 lead their way. They get the 2-round advantage. They can bring the full buy forward, and the Lyngby Vikings, it's a messy call. They're going to call the timeout to have a bit of a discussion about it, because you've got players like Rars and Bird from Sky who can afford AK's full armor but limited utility, and then you've got players like Cabby and Twinks who can't get anything more than a little pistol before they break their own bank. It looks like they want to go for the Force. They want to bring the rivals out. They'll tell the lower cash players to pick up some SMGs or a Galil in something in that vein. Definitely no sniper rifles available for the T side, and utility looking relatively flush. They have 5 smokes this time, and we have to see whether or not they can keep them until the late round, because that's when they really matter, and seemingly Lyngby never have them available when they need the executes.
The pause will just get extended a little longer. And for Endpoint, they've certainly shown up on the CT side so far. Lyngby, they are trying to keep this close on Endpoint's map pick. And for Endpoint now, I think they just wait for the money to really start to get built up. I've not seen enough of Endpoint on train, so I couldn't tell you if they go for many double up setups, but I'm sure they would go for it.
If they feel the need to, if they feel like they're getting rocked by Lyngby, they can certainly drop down onto it. Surreal or Robin normally picking up the secondary AWP. And if they have to make economic sacrifices in order to get that second AWP out, it's generally the captain, Mighty Max, who'll do it. He'll drop down to a UMP and play Ivy if he has to, and allow the double AWPs, one to work on B and one to work watching T-Con or something in that vein. Either way, they don't need the double AWPs in this round as Lyngby. They want to go much quicker out on A. At least the flashes indicate that they do, but the CT counter utility is already in place. It's going to stall them for now.
Well, Lyngby, again, got to be careful of how they use this utility, because what they have gets used up so quickly that within the space of about 20 seconds, we're now down to a smoke, a flash, and a nade. That's how quick the T's have been forced to use all of their utility. And while there is a smoke towards CT and connector, already the angles are already provided by Endpoint, and they could really hold on to this quite easily. What is a drain is forced by good trades off, but Mighty Max and Typos come off better. 1 on 2, the AWP misses! That almost got deadly.
That was very close. Mighty Max at the end, he looked like he was whipping the spray. When he started to readjust, you thought there was a chance for the adjustment from Lyngby, but alone, he's able to cling on to things and get 3 kills. Now, his team has to drop down to the SMGs, but this actually might not be too bad for them because they're up against the eco from Lyngby. Those SMGs should have an easier time of ripping those heads. It's not as dangerous as going up against the full buy.
I can farm in the money. Cabby just avoiding as much utility as he can do. He has dropped down to 63 HP, but Bird from Sky wasn't really contested as Surreal picks him off deep in B heaven. Drops down, but in the face of a UMP, you're not going to be getting too much. Crucial Max, the other 2 players yet to fry in this round, but it could be a team ace. 2NX. He might look to take him out, and Max steals that title. They win 13. They do little impact on Lyngby's faith and momentum. And now, unless we see a Lyngby win here, we could see Endpoint going ahead and taking their home map pick of train.
And Vertigo up next, perhaps is even the more interesting decision from Lyngby. Endpoint chose to take us here, and statistically speaking, they have more success on Vertigo than they do over here on trains. So unless Lyngby have something special in their back pocket, teams already in these tournaments have been upset on their own map picks of Vertigo in the past. SMG still out for Endpoint in this round. They could get severely punished. They've gone aggressive towards B, but they found Typos importantly, and Mighty Max getting Twin X as well. That is vital, crucial with the AWP. Securing a kill in kind, and 2 on 4 as Mighty Max reloads away, but Cabby doesn't peek it. That's really unusual. How come he doesn't get the sound cue there?
I'd have thought he would have done. I'd have thought Cabby looks towards that left-hand angle, but he just doesn't. So Max cleans up that one, and crucial, in fact, the AWPer takes out his opponent, and they dispatch of Lyngby so cleanly and so confidently and comfortably on this gun round. And would you look at that? Lyngby's money far from perfect from getting a full buyout. They're going to contest, and they might as well try it. So if you give up a round here, you're going to be having to find 6 in a row to take yourself to overtime. Endpoint a win here gives them map point on their turf. Let's see if an opening M4s can again find the openings.
They break Lyngby's economy as well if they won this round, Endpoint, so the chances of them winning the map off of this round about 90%, but they have to get through this round first. AK peeking Ivy. Mighty Max knows he doesn't really want to regress that one. He'll drop a smoke to make sure nobody tries to push, but it's crucial who'll get the opening kill. Typos down on just 5 as well. His teammate Cabby's low to boot in kind, and 3-on-5 situation for Lyngby again to try and deal with. They're going to pick the bomb up with a minute left on the clock, and it looks as though Cabby on low HP might want to test the waters towards B, but that nade finishes him off completely. All over for him, and now it's all on to TwinX and Rals to deny Endpoint map point.
They've got to work together. They've got to be so perfect, really, and maybe this response, and maybe just look for the one-on-one angels if Endpoint can give you that. It's crucial. That's taken out with the opponent, and now a lot more work had to be done by TwinX to really find a win. Would have been 10, but instead Endpoint now find 15. 1 to close out Train. Thomas on 20 kills certainly has been leading the way, but all in all, a great team performance from Endpoint so far.
Incredibly balanced from the CTs, and you can see the difference there over on the Lyngby side. Bird from Sky and TwinX, the players who had the double AWPs the majority of the time on that CT side. They're the players who've got the majority of the kills on the roster. The rest on just above 10. Crucial getting the opening kill onto Bird from Sky in this round. Terrible for Lyngby's chances at staying alive in Train. They've dropped the bomb in T-Con, but it's in a recoverable position, and Surreal, he doesn't know it, but he's engaged in a standoff with Typos here. He's on the other side of the smoke. It's all about who'll spam first. Typos does it and finds him, but Thomas has found Cabby elsewhere. Crucial recovers with the AWP, and TwinX and Raz. It's just TwinX now. He's picked up an AK, but with the Deagle, he can't get anything done. Thomas removes him, and Endpoint take it 16-9.
7 in a row at the end now, and Endpoint do close out their map pick.